Okay, in this video, we'll be talking about master model technique. What we need to do is open a part first, and we'll be creating our master. Um, it's been explained to you, master modeling is a way to take one part, uh, use that as a master or a parent part, and then create multiple child parts that are tied to it. And then we'll be able to edit the master, and it will make edits in all the children parts. But again, first things first, we need to have a master part, which I'll be creating in here. We'll just be creating a simple box. So we'll do a rectangle around the center of this origin. Real quick, I'm going to change my units to centimeters. Go back in here and give this some dimensions. We'll do an extrude, and we'll do 10 centimeters. That shouldn't be that unfamiliar to you. That should be pretty straightforward. I'm also going to add a plane that's offset from this top plane. So we'll do reference geometry plane here, go 2 centimeters down. And we'll see what that plane is going to be used for here in a moment. But this is my master part. And so what I'm going to do is I will save this part and name it my master. So save. You want to save this in a location that works for you. For me, I'll just do it in my downloads here. And this will be my master. And save that. Now what I want to do is to create some children parts. We're just going to do 2 for this sake. You might have more for yours. You really can be unlimited. So do a new part, and here's the key thing. Inserting your master into this new part file. The way that we do that is come up here to the SOLIDWORKS toolbar, go over to Insert, come down to Part. Now master is already open, so it's going to come in here pretty easily. If you don't see it, you can browse for it. Okay, and it's almost like we're inserting this in an assembly in the sense that we don't want to click out here. We want to do the check mark in order to place it so that the origins match up. But before we do the check mark, we need to select some boxes here. Okay, these boxes basically are asking, or you're going to tell SOLIDWORKS what things you want to pull from your old part and bring into this new one. For our sake, we want planes. We really just want planes. That's all we need for this. But I would argue that most of the times you'll probably also want absorbed sketches and unabsorbed sketches. The difference between those, if you notice in your model tree, when you do a feature, the sketch kind of gets absorbed into the feature. That's what an absorbed sketch is, and I'll show that here in a second. And I definitely want body material and part material. Now I can hit the check mark. It's saying that the units of this is in inches, but my parent part is in centimeters. Do I want to change this one? Yes, I do. Now this one's in centimeters. And we've got our master. Now I'm going to save this as my bottom part. And then I'm going to do the same thing. New part, insert part, insert the master, not the bottom. Make sure the right things are selected. Check mark, change the units. Save this one as my top. Okay. I recommend saving early on. That way you don't get confused with what parts you have in here. You can easily see at the top, it tells you exactly what your part name is. Now, here's a fun part. We get to revisit surface modeling, but it's not that intense. So remember, we need to right click on any toolbar tab. So, click tabs, come down to surfaces, and make sure we turn that on. That way we can get to the surfaces toolbar, and we need this cut with surface tool. Okay. I'm going to select that plane that I inserted, and I'm going to cut. This is my top part, so I'm going to cut everything below that plane. You can see this arrow, it's pointing towards the direction of what you want to cut. And hit the check mark. Now I'm just going to go ahead and hide all these planes because I don't need to see them anymore. Okay. Now I'm going to save that, move over to my bottom part. I'm going to repeat the process, cut with surface, and I'm going to flip the arrow so it cuts away the top and hit the check mark. And then again, I'm going to hide all my planes. You don't have to hide all your planes. It just makes it a little bit easier for me. Now let's revisit the master real quick, just so I can explain the absorbed sketches and unabsorbed sketches again. If I were to just sketch something on a plane, it would be in my model tree. That's an unabsorbed sketch. But my first sketch that got pulled into this extrude, that is an absorbed sketch. And so you want to make sure that most of the time, for our purposes, we won't be using them. But in your modeling, you might need to use those. But now you see we've got a master part, and then we've also got a bottom and a top part, and they're all saved and they're all tied together. In the next video, we'll talk about making edits to these parts individually.